Hey guys, Ryan here. Welcome back to the kitchen. Today we got a special episode. Today we are going to be learning how to cook that prime ribeye. So as you can see, I've got the organic ribeye. This is basically prime rib. The difference between a ribeye and prime rib is that a prime rib is basically a whole bunch of these together in a roast that you put in the oven and you roast it. Whereas a ribeye steak is basically a prime rib that's been cut up into steaks. And this is very easy to just pan fry. And I'm going to be giving you my secret recipe today. It's super easy. It takes about 15 minutes tops, and you will have the best steak, guaranteed. Now here's the thing. A lot of guys, they will wonder, why is cooking necessary in regards to picking up girls? Well, here's the thing. Learning how to be a great pickup artist, or a seducer, or the type of guy who's naturally attractive to beautiful women, well, there's a lot more to it than just going out to the club and trying to talk to girls. This is about building a life. This is about becoming the type of guy who's naturally attractive to beautiful women. And when you're the type of guy who also has his life together, who has great social skills, who can go to the club and interact with beautiful women, when you're the type of guy who's going to the gym, getting buff, got that attractive body, when you're the type of guy who's got his career and his finances together, and you're the type of guy who's got the lifestyle, you can bring a girl home and you can whip up an amazing meal. You are going to sweep these girls off their feet, I promise you. Trust me. Alright, so real quick. Something just for common knowledge that you should know about meat. And if you want to learn more about types of steak, you should definitely go on YouTube and type in parts of the cow, what are different cuts of steak. You should know all this as a man. This is just as important as learning how to change a tire, know how to change your own oil. You don't have to actually do those things, but you should just know them as a man. In case there was an emergency, hot girl is stranded on the side of a road, got a flat tire. It's happened, guys. Driving down the 15 freeway, I seen a girl, flat tire. I got out, pulled out her spare tire, changed the tire. What did she do? She wanted to give me a reward. She took me out to fucking dinner the next week. So you should know these things. When you're the man, you should definitely understand what are the different types of beef, why prime over choice is better versus choice versus select. Basically what it all comes down to is the fat content. Now you look at what this is called marbleization, where you see a lot of fat in here, and fat equals flavor. You can eat all the fat. Okay, some people, they don't like to eat the rind. You got to understand this is animal fat. It's not trans fat. It's not bad fats. It's just animal fat, saturated fat. And fat is energy. Okay, and when you see something that's prime, it just means that there's a higher content, and they actually scan it with a type of barcode scanner to measure the fat content. So that's why you always want to go for at least choice, if not prime. You can't get prime at a place like Albertsons or Vaughn's. You have to go to a butcher. So step number one, well, the first step is actually to go to the store and get the steaks. Make sure you get two, one for you, one for your girl. And then you want to preheat the oven to 500 degrees. See, most guys can't even get past this step. It's very easy. You're just setting the oven basically to, it's gonna take a few minutes, and the oven's going to heat itself up to 500 degrees. So now as we're waiting for the oven to heat up to 500 degrees, this is the time that you want to start doing your prepping. So this is where we're going to open up the steak. For me personally, I like to run it under the sink, under the water. I don't know if the butcher, he might have not been using gloves. We don't know, because I wasn't there when he cut the steak. So I want to just kind of rinse it off. And then basically I'm going to start marinating it with butter. And what I like to use is Lowry's garlic salt. So I just use this right here. I also like to use sea salt, organic. A lot of people, they use like the regular kind of salt like this. I don't really touch that. I always either get sea salt or some kind of, like, this one is a Mediterranean salt. There's also pink salts. Just make sure it says sea salt. Healthier for you in terms of salt. So basically we're just going to cut the steak open. I have to kind of cut it like this. Basically I'm making an eye. Not with the same knife that you're going to actually cut your steak with. So there we go. I'm just going to run this under the water. Look at that. It's nice marbleization in there. This is going to be a nice piece of meat right here. Pretty good. Look at that. Oh, that. Tender. Very tender. Now, something for you guys that aren't used to the kitchen, this is something you really want to take notice of. If you notice this pan, this is all iron. It's iron and steel. Same thing. Versus a pan like this, which is a plastic arm right here. So this can't go in the oven. And if you try to put steak in here, what's basically going to happen is we're going to fry each side of this on high for 2 minutes. And then we're going to throw it in the oven on 500 degrees for 6 minutes. But if this goes in the oven for 6 minutes, if it's plastic, the whole place will smell like shit, okay? And it's a great way to cause a fire, and it's very toxic to the food. So make sure that you get a pan that is all steel, all iron. Now personally, I like to use organic salted butter by Horizon. I feel that this has the best taste. Now, a lot of people, when they're making prime rib or ribeye, they tend to try to melt the butter, and then they will even massage butter into there. You can touch this steak with your fingers. That's perfectly fine. It will leave a little bit of a greasy film. We're not actually going to do this. I'm going to show you the easier way to do this, which is basically just to cut a 1/4 cube of butter. Actually, the steak won't be in here just yet. And when we do put it down, we're going to be putting it away from us. Okay? So for example, we're going to turn this up on high. Okay, the flame is high. We're basically going to set the timer for 2 minutes. Now the first thing we want to do is get the butter melted down in here. So we'll just give that a few seconds. That's looking good. So, we're going to just set the steak in here. Always push it away from you. Looks like it's cooking real good now. Now at the same time we're going to be doing this, this is where we want to add on this seasoning. Get it good and seasoned. Remember, a lot of it's going to burn off and end up in the pan. So if you go a little overboard, that's perfectly alright. So add a little salt. Sure that you keep turning it around, marinated in that butter. Now remember that you can use any kind of seasoning you want. I personally don't like pepper on my steak, but some people do like pepper. You can use ground black pepper, red pepper, anything that you want. Now at that 2 minute mark, we're just going to flip the steak over, and we're going to reset the timer for 2 minutes. And we're going to re-season the steak on this side. A lot of people think cooking is a hassle. Cooking is fun and easy. Plus, the greatest part is, in regards to cooking for a woman, sometimes if you burn the food or you screw up the whole meal, that's okay. Because it lets her know that you don't really take yourself too serious and that you're not afraid to make a fool of yourself. And women actually find that attractive. So you can't lose. It's good. It smells amazing. Just let it marinate in that butter. Some people are picky about their steak. We're making this medium rare. It's going to be nice and red in the middle. But some people, they will actually raise the steak up and they will try to cook it on its side like that. That's optional. I don't do it. Now, right before we put it into the oven, we're going to flip it again. Now, this is when it gets a little tricky. What you're going to do is you're going to put it in the oven after you've flipped it again. You're going to close it up, and you're going to set the timer for 6 minutes. Now, that's just going to sit in there for 6 minutes. Don't open the oven to let the heat out. Just let it do its thing. Once it's done, once the timer goes off, we're going to pull it out, and then we're just going to let it sit there for maybe 2 minutes just to absorb the juice. A lot of people, they pull the steak right out of the pan onto the plate and they start cutting it. And what happens is all the juice gets out. You want to let it cook on the inside. So we've got a few minutes here while this is doing its thing. And like I said, it is that fast. The time it took me to cut the steak open, to wash it off, cook it 2 minutes each side, that was 4 minutes, and then 6 minutes in there. You can have an amazing meal in less than 15 minutes. Now, I'm going to teach you how to step it up a notch. At this point, you're going to have a few minutes while it's cooking. This is when I like to start prepping the plates. Now, I have my Noritake platinum trimmed china dishes. So as soon as I pull this out, I'm going to be putting the pan right here on the stove. I'm going to let it sit for 2 minutes, and I'm going to transfer the steak onto the plate. And what I like to do is I like to have a lot of different condiments. And this is where people are going to get a little feisty when I hold up things like A1 and Heinz 57 sauce, or melted butter, or odd juice, or any other kind of condiment. Ranch dressing I've seen people eat steak with. And it's crazy. I've seen people literally get angry. I was at a barbecue one time, and I wanted some A1 on the steak that he cooked. And the guy looked at me and said, he was like, did I cook the steak wrong? He was like, there's nothing wrong with the steak. Why do you need A1? I'm like, whoa, bro, I just want some fucking A1. Look, as a cook, and especially to cater to your guests, everyone has a different palate. That's why restaurants have all kinds of different condiments. Personally, I would never touch horseradish. I think it's disgusting. And sauerkraut. There's a lot of foods that I won't go near, but some people love that stuff. Don't try to force or coerce any of your guests especially the girl that you're cooking for, to eat the food that you want. Make it general. Like I said, like when I'm cooking, I don't necessarily use a lot of salt, and I'll let my guests, if they want salt, I'll have it available, and then they can add salt to their meal. Or for example, I'll have out A1, I'll have out, like I said, this Heinz 57 type sauce. It's a little more vinegary. I'll have melted butter, odd juice. I like to just make a lot of different condiments and then allow the woman to make it however she wants to her liking. And people are really going to appreciate that. Be a good host. That's all I have to say about that. Now, at this time when you have a couple minutes while this is cooking in the oven, this is where I like to be prepping. I like to have the dishes out, setting in the condiments, doing my last little bit of cleaning, and just taking care of any other things that need to be done, like making sides. You know, you can throw some French fries in the deep fryer. You can throw tater tots in there in a side for a side. You can be cooking an au jus. You can be melting butter in another pot if you want to make little what are they called? Like a little bowl of melted butter for dipping. Or you can be cooking soup. For example, I recommend this organic minestrone soup. It comes in a box. I used to think Olive Garden had the best minestrone. Once I tried this is amazing. It's ready to go. You just basically pop open the top, pour it in a bowl, and add just a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top, and you have a wonderful soup. Heat it up in the pan while your steak is in the oven. We're about to get ready to pull this out of the oven right now. And I just want you to look at this for a few seconds. It's cooling down. We're about to transfer it over to the plate. Look at that. What a beautiful slice of beef. So let's just cut into this and see how we did. Let's look at the color. Oh wow, look at that. Look at that. Nice and pink inside. Incredible. Perfect. It's that easy. I want to show you how easy it is to just make this soup. Now, I'm actually going to eat it cold. But it's really this simple. This thing opens up like so. And these are only like $2 a piece. And basically you would just heat that up in a pot, and then you add a little bit of Parmesan cheese on the top, not too much. Remember, allow your guests to put it on at their convenience. Just leave that on the table. And you have a perfect side dish to that prime rib. We got to try this. See how it came out. Perfect. There was no other word to explain that. Incredible. That was good. I need some more of that. Woo! Man. Well, thanks for hanging out, guys. I hope that this helps you out, and I hope that you enjoy your steak. Let's try to do it yourself. Practice a few times, get it down, and we get ready for date night. We'll see you guys on the next one. Be safe. I'm about to get into this.